What's happening, everybody? Thanks for coming back. The Bearded Prepper here. Well, today is the 18th of August, and we are just 2 days shy of the 1 year anniversary of my entry into YouTube as the Bearded Prepper. Over that year, I think I've accomplished some of the goals that I set out to and fulfilled some of the promises or commitments that I made to you all on that day. To bring common sense approaches to dealing with this illogical world, options to use common sense, salt of the earth approaches to just being prepared. You know, nothing too elaborate, not too much doom and gloom, nothing fancy, just an average everyday guy, just like the rest of you, getting prepared, or being prepared to survive and support those I love the most in the worst case scenario. So with that being said, I hope it's been helpful to everybody out there, and for those of you that have been following along for any time at all, you know that I love to bring just basic bargain prepping, prepping on a budget advice, things of that nature, just some examples of what you can do if you don't have a lot of resource to be prepared. So I thought, what better way to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of this channel than to go ahead and put out a video that has kind of a compilation, if you will, of some of those options to prep on a budget, to bargain prep, things that would allow everyday people like me and you to get prepared. If we don't have all the money in the world to buy a 18-wheeler full of freeze-dried Mountain House meals, what do? So I encourage you to go back and look over some of my content. I don't pretend to be a professional Hollywood movie star, but I do pretend to be real and to just bring real approaches, and maybe it'll spur you to you know, think about some of the things you have as far as what you have on hand, or things that you need to do to be better prepared that you can do for very low cost. So with that being said, here we go. So one of the best approaches to prepping on a budget, or even low cost or no cost prepping, is just to have fruit trees. Have some berry vines or plants, or blueberry, blackberry. Yeah, look, they grow wild in most places. Just go and harvest them. You'll have a little bit of sweat equity in, but you'll be better prepared. Beyond that, you know, along the same lines is raising a garden. Use whatever space you have, whether you have acres and acres, or you just have a small little plot where you have to do raised beds or container gardening. Just do what you can and learn how to grow your own food. You know, that'll give you a good opportunity to decrease your grocery bills and kind of get in that rhythm of growing some of your own food in the event you have to grow all your own food. If you are in a position where you can grow all of your own food, by all means, go for it. You'll be getting more nutritious food anyway, and be saving a heck of a lot of money these days. Just think of it. You would give yourself a 20% raise, because food has gone up 20% in the last 2 years. But you know, once you have all that food, and along the lines of some of the other options of food procurement as well, what do you do with it? So you can learn how to dehydrate food, get a vacuum sealer. You can get those at Goodwill for just a few dollars if you keep a good lookout, or yard sales, somewhere like that. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on it. I have 2 vacuum sealers. I paid about $3 to $5 for each of them because I got them at Goodwill. So, you know, get out there and look, find some good deals. And not only dehydrating, you can learn how to can your own food. I do that with my venison. I can most of that now. You can can vegetables, you can make jellies, you can do all kinds of things. You can just can fruit. You know, you might lose a little bit of the nutritional value, but you still have food preserved that'll last for years. And along the same lines, you know, I mentioned, you know, freeze-dried meals and such as that. Well, first off, I don't think they're really that healthy, and I can't really afford to buy a lot of freeze-dried stuff. I certainly can't afford to buy a freeze dryer, but what I can buy is some things like instant rice, minute rice. I can get everyday dry staple goods, coffee, you can get flour, you can get whole oats, you know, they call them wheat berries, things like that. And get your own Mylar bags. They're not that expensive. And usually a lot of them come with the oxygen absorbers you need to seal them up. Learn how to do that. Go back and look at my videos. I've given several videos on using Mylar bags to preserve garden seed and food and such as that. So you can put your own long-term storage away. That way, as you're buying a few things that you can afford that'll last for years in Mylar bags, you can put them away. That way you're building your preps a little bit at a time without investing a huge bundle into it. And you know, just focus on the basics. What kind of food supplies and supplies do you need to put away just to get by on a 6-month period? And once you get to 6 months, focus on a year. And then before you start looking at a lot of other preps, just focus on those 2 time periods first with the 4 basics. Go back and look at my original videos. I covered that. You've got safety, shelter, food, water, and the things that come along with those. So I encourage you to go back and look at those 4 videos and make sure that you're getting things at least for 6 months and then for a year on at least the basics. But do it a little bit at a time so it's not so overwhelming. Another thing you can do for free these days, because pretty much all of us have access to the internet, or else you wouldn't be watching me. Free knowledge, it's there. Increase your skills. Get out and practice new skills like trapping, like tool making, everything from hunting, fishing, learning how to garden and grow different things. One of the great things I did this year was Swiss chard. I know it's not new and that fancy, but I'd never grown it. It's so easy to grow and I love it. You saute that up with some onions and peppers, it's a meal in itself. And also increasing your survival knowledge. You can get that for free. Cost you nothing, except Wi-Fi if you have to pay for that, or however you're connecting. A lot of places have free Wi-Fi these days. For goodness sake, Starbucks will let bums come in there and stay. They won't kick anybody out. So you don't even have to buy anything. Just go use their Wi-Fi. Same thing with wild edibles. Even if you're not growing it, you'll have access to knowledge about what you can eat around you every day. I've got videos about that. Go watch them. You can find food anywhere to eat. As long as you know what is edible and what's not, even just the basic things in your area, you can find food even if you can't buy it. At least you have that peace of mind, increased your knowledge, knowing you can get by for a short while. And use what you have. I mean, look, you can go back and look at the videos where I built a chicken coop. Granted, it's probably the world's ugliest chicken coop. I wonder if there's a competition for that. Either way, I would win it, I'm pretty sure. But the only money I have in that chicken coop that houses my 15 hens right now, where I'm getting my eggs from, for a fraction of what they sell for in the store, I think I can't remember now, watch the video. I think it was like 30 bucks, maybe a little bit more, for chicken wire to finish out the last piece of it. That was all the money I had in the whole chicken coop. So, use what you have. If you have a scrap pile, think about what you can do with it. Beyond that, look for some alternative sources of income. Do you have a particular skill that you can use and then sell it on places like, I don't know, eBay, Etsy, Facebook, whatever you may have, whatever avenues you may have to sell some crafts, some whatever it is. One of the options I use, and I think I've mentioned this before in some of my bargain prepping videos or financial economic preparedness videos, is Upside. If you've never heard of Upside, it's a fuel app where you can, when you need to tank up, you open the app and look for stores that have cash back. Granted, you're only usually getting, on the best days, 10-12 cents a gallon, sometimes 25 cents a gallon back, but it adds up. I've had almost $400 over the past couple years that I've gotten back through Upside, just by filling up my tank, which is what I would have done anyway. And by the way, help the bearded prepper out. if you download Upside, use my code. It's J8HJS, Juliet, the number 8, Hotel Juliet Sierra. Give me a few dollars back too while you're saving also. But look for different options like that that you can blend into your everyday life without too much effort, just to get ahead and maybe build up a little bit of scratch to put into your preps. Prospecting, I did a video on that over the past year. Gain some basic skills about how to prospect for gold and silver. If you live in an area where gold and silver's been known to be discovered, and by the way, the old timers say gold is where you find it. Some areas are more well known for those kind of things than others, but have those skills, get that knowledge. And you know what? You'd have a good time being out in nature. It's just such a stress relief, even if you don't find any gold. And basically look for bargains. Always be on the lookout for bargains. Not that you're just constantly stressed out looking for bargains, but everywhere you go, look for it. One of my videos this past year showed a 55-gallon water storage barrel with the pump and the filter and the roller dolly that I got for 20 bucks. Just because someone was tired of it collecting dust. It had never been used. So that's a heck of a deal, because that was, I don't know, maybe $250 for that whole system new, and I got it for 20 bucks. Beyond that, like strawberries. My wife and I found strawberries for $1 a quart not too terribly long ago. We dehydrated a lot of them, froze a bunch of them, and put those away. Anytime I go anywhere, I look for a clearance rack or a clearance aisle. And that doesn't mean I have to resist, buying everything. And I say, do I really need this? But sometimes you'll find something you're looking for, either in Goodwill or on a clearance aisle, that you've been wanting to get. And then you can get it for a bargain. And, one of the most recent videos that I put out was about composting. I'm learning how to do that. And, if there is a fertilizer shortage, or let's face it, fertilizer is expensive these days. If you can't afford it, learn how to compost. Turn your food scraps that you're just going to throw in the trash can, and the shrub clippings you're going to clip, or the grass clippings, turn them back into fertile soil, or fertile compost to mix with your soil. That way, if you don't have access or you can't afford fertilizer, you can still grow nutrient-rich food. And some of the things over the past few years, here's a few options right here. I made these very sharp knives out of carbon steel plates that I got for Christmas. People asked what I wanted for Christmas. The Bearded Prepper says, I want some carbon steel plates. So I showed you how to make knives. Granted, mine are not that beautiful. Mine are very much utilitarian, functional. But the fact is, they work. It works just as good as a knife that would be several $100s. So I encourage you guys just to look for opportunities. If you feel like I can't just get prepared because I don't have any money, there's always an option. And a lot of times there are options that you can be prepared at no cost, or on the barter system. If someone is looking for their yard to be raked, spend a Saturday, rake their yard and get rid of the leaves. Earn a little scratch that you can turn into preps. There's always a way. So I know this is kind of an odd thing to celebrate 1 year anniversary with, but it's something that is near and dear to my heart. I come from salt of the earth roots, from people that were accustomed over the generations just to getting by growing their own food, using what they had or what they could find, and being very resourceful. And if this great paradise that we have these days of everything being available to us at our fingertips or within a very short wait, and being accustomed to having everything done for us, so this service focused society, if all that goes away, I'll be able to survive because I have the knowledge. I have the skills that I've been honing. I have the determination to survive. And I have quite a few things put away that I've been preparing all along. Even though I'm not a rich man and I don't have all the resources in the world, I'm just doing what I can with what I have where I'm at. Most importantly, know the wisdom of our Lord and Savior. It'll take you further than anything else. So until next time, I strongly encourage you to be prepared. God bless. I'm the Beauty Prepper, signing off.